Okay, I think we can kick it off. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar on this Wednesday afternoon. As you can see, today we're going to speak a bit more about how we're going to protect the businesses from the hidden risks of contractors. We're going to go just in a minute over the agenda. Initially, I'd like to introduce ourselves. So I'm Filip. I'm part of the sales team as a vice president of sales at Native Teams, located in North Macedonia. And today I'm accompanied by my colleague Uroš. Can also introduce himself.
Welcome everyone. So my name is Uroš Malesevic. I'm located in Belgrade, and I have been almost 4 years now part of the company as a senior business development manager. So I can also help you and explain the contractor of record landscape that maybe currently interests you and help you dive into that in more detail.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's kick off. And initially, we're gonna just dive deep a bit into the current global contractor economy, what it is, what's the current shift, what's the global norm, and so on. And we're gonna give a bit more insights on the current situation and of course on where the economy is going towards and how we as a company are adapting to the global circumstances, what the offering is, and tackle all of the topics on the contract of record specifically. So just to kick it off, let's start by looking a bit into the bigger picture and the overall shift on what happened in the global contractor economy. So over the past decade, specifically within the COVID time to 2020, the way on how people work fundamentally has completely changed. So independent work is currently the global norm, meaning people are more and more looking forward to having the flexibility while having the benefits of working remotely for big companies, getting out of the comfort zone, striving to get something much bigger than it was a standard, let's say, in the previous decade. So currently the remote work and digital platforms have enabled millions of freelancers, remote workers, gig workers, how we want to call them, part of this industry to work from wherever they want, across borders, across time zones, industries. So it kind of elevated the asynchronous work that we have today. And why is this so much important for everyone? Well, in fact, all of these professionals that possess this skill sets that are currently critical for the development of the current economy, let's say, and the current talent pool, they do not longer value just money, and they do not just value having some fixed, let's say, workplace, having the fixed schedule, everything. They value flexibility, they value autonomy, the ability to work on global projects without relocating, to be able to be part of multiple projects in the same time span, providing their, let's say, key skills on multiple projects, making things come to reality. I think Uroš, my colleague, is going to jump in a bit more and explain on what that does mean currently for the overall businesses around the globe and what these, let's say, remote workers and what the companies actually get out of this one. And you're muted.
Apologies. So as Filip explained, overall, the contractor model provides flexibility for the contractor, but for the companies, it's, I think, even more valuable. It offers them, I would say, a big pool of talent globally that can help them at any stage of the project or at any stage where they're developing their company. So they might not be satisfied with the local talent they can find in their own country. So they might go for, let's say, marketeers in Poland or designers in Mexico, or finding a developer in India as someone who can help them scale their business more and also provide additional edge that they need in the competitive landscape. Also, while the opportunity is global, I would say that there is a lot of local challenges with this model. So there is a need for a very clear support that's going to help these companies when they're expanding. So they will need support with the compliance, the taxation, the intellectual property. So everything that let's say, is a part of the service agreement, it's also very local. So imagine a global company expanding to multiple markets. They would need an expert to help them and stay compliant, and also to avoid additional risks coming with the contractor model. So, for example, if someone is hiring in the UK, you can see that with the IR35 form, or if they're hiring someone in Spain or Germany or anywhere in the globe, each country has their own set of local laws that can affect the contractor and your relationship with that contractor. So overall, the goal is very simple. Make sure that the workers are classified in the right way, make sure that all of the taxes are being paid, and also that IP rights are protected. So if a company is hiring globally, this can create a lot of uncertainty because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of unfamiliar ground that they need to cover. So that's where a partner like us can offer additional support and help them scale with ease and without any additional bureaucracy headaches. So
Great, amazing. Fully agree with you. I mean, you pretty much summarized on all the potential misclassifications, all the main drivers on why the companies are currently looking forward to getting towards the contract of record model versus the contractor model, work payments as we knew it in the past decade, and just paying out freelancers. But aside from this one, from the individual perspective, Uroš, we can both agree that businesses must adapt very, very fast in order to still be relevant and to get this high-skilled workers from this specific pool. As all the industries are evolving so quickly, they need always to be on the go, ready to get the top talent. So what does it mean for them?
Good question. So I would say that even though this means like agility in scaling teams and finding the best talent in the world, also it means that compliance is no longer optional, let's say. So it's something that is a must when you're working with the high-end talent. One of the reasons is that even though you move quickly and you find the talent and you can negotiate quickly with them, having a right framework from the start can also assure the candidate that you're speaking with. They will know that everything is going to be handled compliantly, and also internally you don't need to have any headaches that can come up from the scaling that you're doing. So overall, compliance and scaling are now not so separate. It needs to go together in order to win globally in the next 5 years, I would say.
Amazing. Yeah. So in short, we can both agree, and hopefully also our viewers can also agree, that independent work is no longer the future. It's already the present that we are living in. And companies that can balance the flexibility and the compliance with all the benefits for the workers are the ones that are going to win in the next phase of the global expansion, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Amazing. So since we touched upon just the global contractor economy and what the current, let's say, outlook is, let's dive deep a bit more into what the businesses need, and let's shift a bit this one towards something in practice. So looking a bit retroactively, whenever we're speaking about contractors versus employees, we're very much always had binded the cost efficiency of the setup, since companies tend to need to pay more in order to have the employees, since you also have the employer contributions, plus also you have to be very, very competitive if you want to hold them in place and lock them only on one job, versus having them as contractors and giving about the flexibility a bit more. And today's market does not present the same, I'll say, because contractor economy isn't just about cost saving anymore. It's about you being competitive on the market from a business perspective. It's about giving what these very high skilled individuals want in order for you to be able to tap into the global talent pool, so you can grow, you can innovate, you can provide new solutions, such as we did with the contract of record, right? So what would you say this model is backed up upon, Uroš?
So when I'm speaking with a lot of companies, either exploring employer of record or contractor of record, I see in almost all of the talks that they are, let's say, afraid of the robustness if they're hiring in more than 2 to 3 countries, if they have operations and employees and contractors. Why? Because that means handling multiple layers of the local law, the labor law of that country, and then also utilizing that knowledge internally and then applying it to all the candidates and making sure that you're not compliant. So I would say the crucial part of this model is having a backing in a robust operational and legal system that can help you guide through those, let's say, issues that are arising or questions that are arising in hiring contractors globally, that can help you handle those with ease. So you don't need to bash your head or always find a new, let's say, local legal assistant or local legal advisor in the country where you want to hire. So you'll have in one place, you will have everything. So as it says on the slide, so you would have structured agreements, you would have full onboarding, and you would have the protection that the contractor expects. When I say structured agreements, I mean that all of the agreements are abiding by the local law, they're compliant with the local law. All of the agreements have all the necessary terms and conditions that need to be specified in the contract in order to avoid the misclassification. Also, on a deeper level, it kind of takes over the baggage from the company hiring the contractor, because we already have everything set up. We have researched everything. We have legal associates and our legal employees in all the countries where we offer contractor of record. So you don't need to worry about developing your own robust system. Instead, you can lean onto something already existing like native teams. So yeah, now I would say that right now, global employment solutions, this is where they come in and kind of bridge the gap between the agility and the compliance that the company needs. So yeah, Filip, can you maybe help and explain like how native teams can help those organizations navigate through this new landscape?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you very well said it. So bridging the gap between the agility and compliance on this particular part, since we as a company came into the moment where we wanted to grow even further where we were before and provide the services globally, we came to a situation, of course, that you need to adapt on the market as every other company is to adapt whenever they're looking for a talent pool. Us with our service, on top of us looking for this very high skilled workers that are local and can provide us with their knowledge and expertise, we also had to evolve with the product itself in order to make it a market fit. And native teams, since the beginning, since we had the work payments or the contractor model for the businesses and individuals, so since the very beginning, we had to come up with something just more than being a financial party or enabling these financial transactions. And that's how our contract of record got, let's say, born in a way, if I can metaphorically say it. And it was designed to specifically address these global challenges. Just 2 slides ago, you mentioned that, yeah, indeed, you have rising compliances in the US. You also have specific laws in Spain and UK and Germany being protected by potential misclassifications. You definitely want to avoid and give that ease of mind to both the companies and as well as the individuals that are performing the work for the companies. So our compliant contracts that are tailored to each country have the specific local labor laws set, and our local legal experts that are in-house are ensuring that these contracts are always drafted to match the local specific regulations and be up to date at all times. That means businesses can focus on what they do the best. It means scaling, expanding to new markets, developing new products, onboarding new people safely and instantly without worrying anything about the legal financial exposure, because that's where you can partner up with native teams and get direct access to our legal and our financial experts, and not just from these teams, but from any other team, since we do have plenty of teams with specific skill sets that can assist on any potential customer inquiry. So the legal experts ensure full compliance. Our in-house and partner legal teams that's like stay ahead of legislative changes in over 60 global markets. As we mentioned just on the beginning, if you try to push on more than 2-3 markets, the legal compliance gets so robust. So imagine what 60 markets has to be. So this proactive approach from our internal teams means that you're going to never be caught off guard by any sudden rule change. We're always going to be there, always keeping you up to date, giving you all the necessary advice so you can continue maintaining the standard operations on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, very well said. And just to add something on top of that before I dive into the payments. So when you have a partner that can assist you in this, let's say, really complicated topics in different countries, it doesn't grant you only the edge that you have the knowledge and that you can proceed without being cautious or worrying about if you're making the right decision, if you're staying compliant, if you're going to be fined at some point in time. You are avoiding that completely, but also you're gaining speed. And I think that's the one main competitive edge that you have, because you have a setup system. You find a candidate, you can quickly hire them, you can quickly onboard them, you can be sure that you're compliant, and then that edge of hiring someone outside of your country, someone as a contractor of record in a different global area, doesn't come with the necessary flaws of it being non-compliant and everything else. So you have the speed, you have the best talent in the world, and you also have a partner that's keeping you compliant. So to move into that direction, so you will have payments in any currency, anywhere. So this is a part of the native teams contractor of record solution. Contractors would get paid in their local currency. They can then use our digital wallet to withdraw the funds to their companies, to their solopreneurs, entities that they have in those local countries. And then they can also use our native teams debit card that can also be used to withdraw the funds. But most of the preferred way is the contractors withdrawing funds on their local bank account. In a way, this what I've seen from my clients, this removes friction and also improves satisfaction of the candidate themselves, but also of the company paying the candidate, because they have then all the candidates in one place. They don't need to worry about managing them through different platforms. Also, maintaining transparency and compliance across border transactions, and having intellectual property right protection built into every agreement that's going to be signed. So, since one of the biggest risks in hiring a contractor is a misclassification risk that comes from either a badly written contract or something not emphasized on that's really important by the local labor law in that country. So I would say that all of our agreements are created by our local legal experts. They all include a clear IP transfer clause and all of the initial clauses that are needed to be stated in the employment, in the contractor, in the service agreement for the contractor of record that we are signing in the local country. So overall, you have IP protection, and then if you want to onboard the employee, that would be also a smooth transition. So Filip, you can add on a bit about this.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, you pretty much covered on a multiple perspectives, from just the very beginning of looking for the talent, which of course we can also help with our partners as well, to setting up the contractual framework to be fully compliant with the local labor laws and legislations of each country where we do operate, to having all of the clauses such as intellectual property rights, non-confidentiality, GDPR, etc., everything to be part of these contracts, so the businesses can rest assured that both their rights and as well as the employees' rights are going to be protected at all times. But of course, in every collaboration, we also have to consider offboardings, right? Because at certain time spans, specifically speaking about contractors, they can also work on long-term projects, but we also are very well aware, both me and you, that we did work with plenty of businesses that were looking to onboard and hire short-term contractors, right? And what does the contract of record mean for in this instance? Well, it means smooth offboarding with zero risk. And how's that? I mean, you want to say every offboarding has its own risks. Yeah, it does have, but in the same moment, you do have, as I mentioned initially, our local legal partners that are experts in those fields, together with the customer success teams that are going to be at your disposal at all times to guide you, to give you advice on what's going to be the best outcome and how it can be executed. Because, of course, ending contracts can be risky as starting them if not handled correctly. So you just mentioned a couple of moments ago, Uroš, it's so important to set up these contracts correctly, that for them to be matched with the local labor laws, that even if they're not drafted in a correct structure, it can cause friction. And with native teams, terminations always follow local procedures. So we ensure no future liability or disputes in this case. So you're gonna rest assured that everything, when it comes to either looking for talent, building the contracts, the multi-currency payouts, to all the clauses such as the intellectual property rights and offboardings as the final steps, are all going to be covered. And I think that, Uroš, if I remember correctly, you did have a very, very big client that you were working with previously. Due to GDPR, of course, we will not mention who it is, but could you just give us some insights on what were, let's say, the highest priority parts of the contract of record model that the businesses are looking overall? So what holds the most ground? What's the top priority for them? And afterwards, how it evolved in this specific case with your client?
Yeah, definitely. So overall, it was a huge win for me personally, because I'm happy that I helped the client be more compliant in the countries where they have contractors, and also to manage their contractors more efficiently through our platform, and save time as well as money working through native teams instead of the other provider they were using in the time when they started negotiations. So I would say every company that I spoke with, and similar to this one, every company is looking for clarity and a really, I would say, a focused approach from the provider they're working with. They want to know that all of the contracts that they will receive, their employees, their contractors will receive, are fully compliant. So our legal team can go and explain the contract and the parts of the contracts, why they're stated like that, and why we're implementing these clauses, and how those clauses can protect you. So this was also a big this was really important for them, because it explained how the contracts are specified and what they should be notified about in that contract as well. So they are aware. They're not just giving us everything, handling everything to us, but also receiving valuable feedback that can help them understand this process in a more valuable way. We did truly appreciate it, and was one of the cornerstones of our cooperation. To add on top of that, our platform, I would say, offers more options and features to the users, and more flexibility. So that's one of the things they also liked, and why they choose us, and why they moved from the previous provider. And as well, when they gave me the service agreement, because we signed an NDA, and then they gave me a service agreement that they have currently with their provider, I gave it to our legal team. We noticed some of the things and some of the terms and clauses are not implemented right into the contract. So we notified them, and then that was one of the reasons why they also took a change and went to native teams as their contractor of record provider. So now we are helping almost, I would say, 300 plus contractors of record in the Balkan region of Europe as their main market, but also helping them now expand to the Philippines and Vietnam as well as their target markets, because they already have some candidates there. So overall, I would say most important thing is that having a trusted partner that can always verify and explain why they're doing things in a certain way. So you have also clarity, and you can always double check on the other side if you want, but you're always aware that everything that the partner is doing is always compliant with the local law and the local regulations. And as well, having a platform where you can access and manage all of those contractors with ease, instead having to jump from different HR services or platforms, trying to manage all of them at once. So, and also paying them with ease with our bulk payment option that we have.
Nice. So then thank you for sharing the inspirational story. I mean, so if I understood, every of the business that we are working with, like, and you're working with on a daily basis, they often, although they tend to have different top priorities, whether that's going to be the multi-currency payout or fully local teams, most of them, what they cherish is the full compliance way in setting up both between us and them as two businesses, but as well as us and the contractors of record, or whether they're going to be the contractors or employees. They value mostly the compliance setup and the transparency and efficiency by providing quick resolutions to what their needs are.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think also being providing a tailor-made approach. So in some instances, they want to incorporate certain clauses that want to protect them in full detail. We would then cover those clauses with our legal team. We would implement them in the compliant way in that country. So in EOR case, the client is not always right, because there is a lot of local laws and regulations that need to be managed, and also that we need to shed light on. So I would say just having trust, and having also knowing that there is an option to personalize and tailor-made your contracts and add certain clauses that are compliant with the local law helped them a lot as well.
Amazing, amazing. Great. So since I think we covered pretty much on what the contract of record actually means in the current economy, the current setup, and where the businesses are headed, how we tackle the market itself, and we dove a bit deeper into what it actually means and what it enables to the businesses, as well as the employees or contractors that are using it. I think that we could go towards a small QA session, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I think we covered everything here, so we can jump to the Q&A.
Sweet. So initially, we did receive, in the meantime, while we were speaking, a couple of questions. And the first one is very interesting, and it specifically mentions on the intellectual property clause that both me and you discussed about. So the question is, how does contract of record handle intellectual property rights and ownership for work done by contractors? And that's a pretty good one. Well, in every collaboration, while you have the master service agreement that defines as a framework that defines the legal framework between both of the businesses, you also do have the specific individual contractor agreements that us as a business are signing with the specific individuals. And those contracts are governed by the law, and they do have clauses as part of them that are defining the transfer of intellectual property rights and are set in stone, clauses such as GDPR, non-compete, non-confidentiality, and so on. So by having this main umbrella agreement as a master service agreement, and then having these specific agreements with individuals, all of the intellectual property rights and the ownership are transferred through us straight to our partners who are initially using the solution for their business itself. And I hope this gives a bit more of an insight. And we did have a question about a real example, but I mean, you gave a very nice insight on how you handle your just recent client. So we have another one, and it is, if I only hire one or two contractors, do I still need contract of record? What do you think, Uroš?
Yeah, I wanted to address this one. So I think you need contractor of record regardless of the number of people you're hiring. One contractor still needs to be hired compliantly in the local country, so it doesn't matter if it's one or 100. I would say more with 100, our system helps you manage them with ease, but with one, definitely you would need to be fully compliant, because either way you're risking them being misclassified and then they having, let's say, a wrong impression about your business, about the way you conduct business, about the overall safety of the role they're hired for, and also puts you in the misclassification risk, and also paying the fines for hiring the contractor not compliant in that country, and just paying them through the classic system that would be used by now, so without any contract or any service agreement.
Nice, thank you. And while we're speaking, we did have another question from Marco, and Marco asks, can contract of record actually make me more attractive to top contractors? What do you think?
I believe yes, because when negotiating with a business, and I also spoke with a lot of companies when they're in the negotiation stages of when they're hiring a new employee in a certain country, a lot of them want safety. So if you're hiring someone that's an expert from any country, they want to be sure that they're safely hired, that they're fully compliant, and that they will be paid in a fully compliant way. So they don't want their employer being in risk of hiring them, and also them being in risk because they're hired by this employer. So emphasizing on the safety and also on the compliance of the hiring model that you want to do with them, which is a contractor model, is really valuable to the contractors that you're hiring. And also I received those inputs from the contractors themselves that I spoke with when I started the onboarding, which is one of the reasons why they push for native teams that there's a payment method, because they have security and they have safety that they're going to be compliantly paid. So yeah, I would agree 100% on this one.
Amazing, amazing. I would also add that contract of record actually makes it attractive, very attractive to the top contractors. Even more effective could be, attractive could be even the employer of record solution, right, that we offer. But it all depends on the scope itself, on what both the business and the individual that's performing the work actually want out of it. But if you're looking at a big spectrum of the solutions, when you're moving from just a more simple work payments or contractor pay model towards a contract of record, which is much more sophisticated as a solution, and looking to, let's say, upscale towards the employer of record solution, which on top of our good legal setup and accessibility to our internal specialists, you're also providing benefits to these employees. And those should not be only stationary benefits. You also have the opportunity to add additional supplementary benefits, which currently, based on the market and offerings from top companies, we can clearly see that the salary is not the only thing that's boosting them to or motivating them to go and apply to that position. It's actually things from salary to on-target earnings to additional statutory benefits to supplementary benefits to even remotely working, having fitness passes, having private health insurance and private pension funds, and so much more. And that's where we as a provider and your real partner come and step in place to provide all of these opportunities worldwide. And I think we only have, time for one more question. And we do have, how does onboarding work differently between contractor pay and contractor of record? Well, contractor pay, if I can answer this question, Uroš, I think you can jump in on anything you want to add. Whenever we're speaking about contractor pay, it's mostly us facilitating the transaction, while it's still not fully governed in a way that you ensure the local compliance in a way, plus our advice on the local taxation. Because whenever you're looking to hire specific, whether that's going to be a contract or a contract of record or an employee, you still need to have a clear grasp of the local regulations, of the taxations, of all the, let's say, the little things that can cause friction and make it much harder than it has to be. And our teams are specialized in that particular part, and they know, they have a clear grasp on the local markets, have a very good understanding, and actually set up the contracts very well when we're speaking about the contract of record, that you're going to have both easy on and offboarding, while the contractor model itself is pretty much just a financial intermediary as a service that we provide. I don't know if you would like to add something, Uroš, on top of that one.
I think you covered everything. Just like, for example, contractor pays just as a payment processing tool, so you can just pay directly into the wallet, and then you are not providing any extra support or anything extra to the employee. You're just paying them directly, and that's it. So with contractor of record, you're paying them with a service agreement, with everything being classified in the right way. So this way you ensure the safety for you and also for them, which we referenced a couple of times in this call. But I think like currently the way the global labor market is set up, there is not a lot of really good and qualified candidates. So finding one, I think you should do everything to keep them and make them essential part of the company, which would be offering them either a contractor of record or an employer of record, where they would have all of the benefits as Filip mentioned. So yeah, just my 2 cents on this part.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the addition. And I would like to thank all of you for your time today. It was a pleasure having you as participants on this webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either myself or to my colleague Uroš, or reach out to our customer support or customer success teams at our website. We are more than happy to assist you with any inquiries you may have, even potentially explore even partnerships, looking to scale globally and looking to grow both together as partners. Have an amazing day wherever you're located, and see you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.